What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Monday morning to you, and welcome to this devotional series. We're still in the book of Mark, and even though our 21 days of fasting are done, we're going to carry on through the book of Mark. It's going to be awesome, beautiful, wonderful, amazing book of the Bible. Nothing better than walking with Jesus. Last week, we kind of introduced the idea of parables, and of course, we spent a lot of time on one main parable, the parable that Jesus actually explains and unpacks. But right after that, he keeps going with the whole parable idea, and we'll cover a couple more parables this week, and then a couple new stories. It's going to be really, really cool. And so, but here's what it says: Mark chapter 4, verse 21. Jesus says to them, "Do you bring in a lamp and put it under a bowl or a bed? Instead, don't you put it on its stand? For whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open. If anyone has ears to hear, let them hear. Consider carefully what you hear," he continued. "With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and even more. Whoever has will be given more, and whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them." So remember last week we said this about parables. They're meant to be wrestled with, grappled with, unpacked, unearthed. Again, life is dynamic, therefore these parables have dynamic to them as well. And so a couple different thoughts that he begins with is just simply that idea of like, hey, you are meant to be light. Jesus refers to himself as the light of the world, and he tells you and I that we are meant to be the light of the world. And so he says, do you bring a lamp and put it in underneath a bowl or a bed? And so if you are meant to be light, you are meant to give illumination, you're meant to give warmth, you're meant to expel the darkness. That's what the light exists for. Well, don't put it under a bowl or a bed. And my quick observations is that if you actually took a candle and put it under a bowl, well, the candle would go out because it wouldn't have oxygen. And so sometimes you can take the light that you've been given, and if you put it in enough of a bad environment and you don't actually use that light the way it was intended, it will just go out. The other one that he uses is a bed, and I thought, well, that's what a funny illustration that is, because if I took a candle and I put it under a bed, the bed would catch on fire and I'd burn the house down. And I thought, how fascinating is it sometimes you're meant to have a passion for something. We're all passionate creatures. I don't know if you know that or not. We're all been given this kind of like hardwired design to be passionate about certain things. And I think Jesus is alluding to the idea of, hey, if you don't find your passion in Christ, and if you don't find your passion for the gospel, you'll find your passion somewhere else. And if you find an evil passion, it will burn everything down. But what you're meant to do is take that light and put it on a stand. And I want you to, again, just wrestle with these ideas. Meaning, it's not just the light, but you've actually prepared that light for a place. Does that make sense? And so I want you to think if I'm going to be the light of the world in my job place, I need to go into that place being fully prepared, right? And that could just mean I'm an excellent employee. I show up a little early. I leave late. I give my best attitude. I have a Christ-like character and attitude while on the job. And then I'm even prepared to have that conversation after work. Go grab a coffee with a coworker. Share my testimonies. No, it's not that I just have a light. It's that I've actually prepared a stand to set it on. And then last thing I want to give you is this, is in verse 24, he says, with the measure you use this light, it will be measured to you and even more. Or it could be the measure of what God has given you. And here's my last thought on this, is that light is my responsibility. When he's talking about whatever measure you use it, think about light now. To whatever degree that you use your light, that's going to be measured back to you. As a matter of fact, if you'll take responsibility for your light and go maximize your potential, go make the very most of it, God will give you more influence. But listen to the bottom part here. Whoever has, more will be given. Meaning if you use your light well, God's going to give you even more influence. But whoever does not have it, even what he has will be taken from them. Meaning it's your responsibility. When you think about a parent giving a child responsibility, hey, if you can't handle that, then I can't entrust you with that. And that's what God's saying. Hey, if you're not going to take responsibility for the influence that I give you, then I'm not going to give you any more. And so light, the ability to be light, to bring illumination, to bring warmth, and to expel the darkness wherever I'm at, whether that's at my job, in my home, in my neighborhood, with my crazy family members, whatever it is my responsibility to bring the illumination, to bring the warmth, and to expel the darkness. And when I make that my responsibility, God will give me even more influence. Just a real powerful little nugget here, again, for you to meditate on and think on. Let's today go out and be the light of the world. God bless you guys so much. I'll see you tomorrow.